Well, welcome leaders to this wonderful session we have planned for you this evening. We are going to look at and participate in a brownie meeting. And then we're going to look at all the ceremonies and occasions when you as their leaders can celebrate the brownies' achievement, and the occasions when they themselves can assist in planning these events and of course displaying all the wonderful skills and above all else enjoying the wonderful meetings of brownies. I want everybody, of course you all know my name. I'm Elma Garraway, and I'm a very senior trainer. I think I'm the oldest of the lot now, but I think for an old lady I'm not half bad. I want each of you to, oh, and I'm going to be the brown owl for the occasion. And this is going to be the tawny owl, and she'll tell you who she is.
I'm Carolyn Young, and I'm a trainer also, not a senior as Ms. Garraway.
That's obvious, isn't it? Now, ladies, you have all been doing brownies, perhaps except the ladies from Praise and Worship Assembly. Now, what is it that we expect in a brownie meeting? In all the literature, all the books, you go online and see whatever they say, there is no hard and fast rule the way in which a brownie meeting should be held. No hard and fast rule. It's like teaching, and most of you are teachers. It's no hard and fast rule of introducing a lesson, etc. But I can assure you that all brownie meetings have certain elements in them, if it is going to be brownie, so that it becomes universal all across the region, all across the Bahamas, all across our own region in which we belong, which is what's the name of the region that we belong to? The Caribbean link, and then the wider region is Western Hemisphere, and the widest region is? WIGES. What's WIGES? Who knows? What's that? World Association. Wonderful. Let's look at a meeting. Here is one example, and we are saying this meeting will be about 1.5 hours long. And so you begin with a chasing game. Many of your brownies would be in a classroom all day, wouldn't they? And so they can't come and begin a meeting again by sitting down. They want to do something, and the something is really a wonderful chasing game. Anybody can think of a chasing game you've used? A quick chasing game? No? What have you done, Megan? Oh yeah, that butterfly touch. Let Megan tell you about it. It's fun. The guides like that as well, the brownies and the guides. And so you let them run and get off some of the steam, and say for about 10 minutes. And then of course, you get into your opening ceremony, which is really the brownie ring, taking your subscription, the sixer song. Those things happen within the opening ceremony. And then of course, remember we say guiding provides for leadership. Yes, that's one of the essential elements. That is leadership, and of course some of you have your sixes in your own packs. And so you will go into your sixer group where they do some group work. And this suggestion was making homemade sweets and decorations for a celebration you're going to have. And that is a long period if you're going to make sweets. And I thought of perhaps that we could have made some no-bake sweets, but then I remember we were in this hall and they look like food in this hall. So I didn't want to violate the rules of the hall, but we could have done that, which would have been a nice thing to do. And that's for 40 minutes. And then there is powwow. Powwow is an Indian word. And who knows, if anybody here has done powwow? We're powwow people. Anybody had a powwow in their brownie meeting? Powwow is only discussion, but it's in a ring. And this is a time when you have all the brownies participate. We're going to have a powwow in our model Brownie meeting this afternoon. And it's a good time to ensure they fully understand what it is they're doing, or if you're doing some World Association work, or you're doing something special for your school or for the association. Similarly, now you're getting ready for the tea party, so the powwow could be about the best table manners that you can have at tea. So the powwow is always something in which the girls can participate. And then, you know, we love singing. I can't sing, but I love singing. And it seems as though all of us who can't sing become, my mother loved singing and my sisters can sing, but she'd say to me, my dear, you stay with speaking. And so I developed my speaking, but that doesn't stop me from singing. So, but the Tony Owl, Miss Young, is going to lead the singing in our meeting. And then, of course, there is a quiet closing song. And how do we end? How do you always end your meeting? With Brownie bells. Do not allow the children to go away without closing your meeting. You who are teachers, you know you have to do what? Conclude your lesson and give them a challenge so they would leave from your Brownie meetings going with something to do. You're going to remember to do a good turn, not at home, at school, on the street, in the community, by your church. So you let them go away with an application of what happens in your Brownie meeting. So that's one model of a meeting. Ms. Young, you want to come turn this over? I'm tall, but I can't reach today. Now, here is some bones, some meat on the bones of that meeting. And this is what we are going to follow this afternoon. We're going to do the chasing game. We're going to do the opening ceremony, and all the brownies in their various sexes will do something about keeping healthy. And I select keeping healthy is the thing, making it relevant. What happens in May in the Bahamas? Who knows what happens in May in the Bahamas? Pardon? May is? Mother's Day, but that's past us. What else happens in May? To do with health, what happens? It is Cancer Month. It is Cancer Month. And the emphasis by the Cancer Society of the Bahamas is to say healthy living. That if we make the right choices about our food, the way we live, the way we exercise, a balanced life, and having our annual checkups, that perhaps we can minimize, eliminate, or very early know that there might be some naughty cells that have turned rogue in our bodies. And so we are going to do some healthy activities. Then of course some healthy, no, we don't have to go there yet. Some healthy activities also have some fitness challenge. And many of you don't know Miss Young is an athlete. And so she is, you're not an athlete? Oh, she judges.
I'm a judge of the athlete.
She's a judge, but she knows something about it anyway. And so she is going to give you all some challenges. We're going to eliminate the story, but you will have some story of a famous person. And I will just say a little about a famous person, sports person that you all know. Then we're going to have some closing songs, but we're going to add to that, we're going to add to that some, we're going to add to that a powwow, because that's a part of the ceremonies. Now, how else can this meeting be done? For those of you who do not meet Ms. Lundy, you're not a school group, you're a church group. Mrs. Mackenzie and those are going to be a church group. Just how all of you didn't come at once this afternoon, that's how your church group is going to operate. They are going to wander in bit by bit until you get the discipline down to say, please get here on time. The easiest way to ensure that you conduct a good program, where would you begin, Ms. Lundy? if you're dealing with your church group, where would you begin? On this meeting, where would you begin?
Well, actually, most of my brownies get there before I do.
Okay.
But, basically, we're fortunate there's like a little playground right nearby, so I just let them go in the playground and start playing, you know.
You let them play?
That'll burn off some of the excess energy before we start the meeting.
All right, so you let them just play naturally. But you know what else you can do? You can begin where? You can begin with the activities. This is why you need your brownie boxes. The brownies need to know the elves, these are my box, this is my box. The gnome, this is my box. Pixie sprites, this is my box. And so they know to go into their box, and they know in advance when you get to some other parts of the brownie program. You talk about long-term planning. They know that the elves are working on keeping fit badge. And so there are things they have to work on, yes? And they work, you begin then with your activity until you get all of them present, all right? Tony Owl and I are going to stand here, and we're going to make an archway. They're getting into the circle. We do an archway, and I am going to say, to it, to woo, to it, to woo, to it, to woo. And then I want, these are the gnomes. The gnomes will come under and begin in this, and we're all coming in doing what? Singing. La 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 la. So they will come first, then the sprites and the gnomes, elves. Okay, the elves will be the last bit until we get in the circle. Yeah, bring that with you. Bring that. The sixes are to bring their package with you because we're going to take subscription in. You've given everybody their 25 cents? Yes. Everybody should have their 20, because then you will rest your 20, when we talk about the brownie, the treasure, yes, that's when your group will go in and put it on the ground. Do it, woo! La 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 la. Brownies. Did you enjoy it? Yes! Now it's time to take our subscription, and we are going to sing our Brownie Gold song. Do you remember the words of the Brownie Gold song? Yes. Yes? Who has a quarter, a shiny silver quarter? Who has a quarter for the treasure chest? Who has a quarter, a shiny silver quarter? Who has a quarter for the treasure chest? Brownie gold, brownie gold, brownie gold for the treasure chest. Brownie gold, brownie gold, brownie gold for the treasure chest. Then I'll say, sprites have brownie gold for the treasure chest. All right, we ready to begin? Brownies, yes, darling.
After you say sprites, they come and sing.
The sprites will put there, the sprite leader will go and put her tray down, and she will put her 25 cents on the circle. You just don't throw it. there is it's a space for it. And as they will come in singing, normally you can do it that we'll say, we're going to bring in our treasure this week as animals. And once they're in, you're to guess the animals that each sixer imitated. Some people will come in as monkeys, some people come in as elephants, some people come in as tigers, some people come in as birds. You can do whichever you want when you begin the fairy go, all right? Brownies, we want to now take our fairy goes. Who has a quarter, a shiny silver quarter? Who has a quarter for the treasure chest? Who has a quarter, a shiny silver quarter? Who has a quarter for the treasure chest? Brownie gold, brownie gold, brownie gold for the treasure chest. Brownie gold, brownie gold, brownie gold for the treasure chest. Sprites have treasure for the treasure chest. Yes, you're
Here we come, the brightly bright.
elves have money for the treasure chest.
This is what we do ourselves, think of others, not ourselves. This is what we do ourselves, think of others, not ourselves. This is what we do ourselves, think of others, not ourselves.
Go on.
Here we come, the laughing gnomes, helping others in our
Put it down, put it down.
Here we come, the laughing gnomes, helping others in our homes. Here we come, the laughing gnomes, helping others in our homes. Here we come, the sprightly sprites, brave and helpful lads of nights. Here we come, the sprightly sprites, brave and helpful lads of nights.
Well done. Well done, Brownies. Give your yourselves a round of applause. Now our sixers are now going to take the attendance and of course do a little inspection of uniforms for this meeting. You may begin, sixers. Yes. Thank you very much. Tony Owl will collect your books. Will you put them back in your plastic bags with your pencils, your books, and Tony Owl will collect each of your plates with the money, and we thank you very much. And now, Brownies, you know we have been working very hard at keeping healthy, and because May is Cancer Month, and the Cancer Society of the Bahamas wants all of us to live a balanced life, to eat healthy, to exercise, to rest, to think good thoughts, so that our cells, our good cells, will not become rogue cells and not do what they should not do and cause us to have cancer. Any of you had cancer in your families, or do you know someone who's had cancer? Yes? Well, what you are going to do today in your various groups will, of course, help you to live a healthy life and to educate your parents, especially Brownies, from eating, I call them cancer fries. Those French fries, you mustn't have them all the time. They are called, we call them cancer fries. And so, L's, you know what you're going to do. You may go to your sixer corner and you've got a little while to get it done. These are the Sprites. You may go to your corner and your activity is there. Your sixer knows what you're supposed to do. And of course, these are the no's. No's to your corner. Concentration. Whoever is writing it, you've got to write the same thing. What would it be nice if we had the Girl Guide trefoil to stamp on the back of everyone, so they all stamped alike, or but you could put Pixie's concentration, L's concentration game. Somebody can write it on each one. See, I'm going to bring them so they could see what each person is doing, to show that the sixer has the leadership. All right? Your bookmark, and put her tie at the end of it. What are we supposed to do? See how much fun it is? Good job, but that should be cool.
Yeah, concentration. She's an artist.
And see, they have some pretty things that you might want to use. Make sure put your name on your book. Put your name on your bookmark.
And you can maybe put up like a
No, I can do like a little cycle.
Okay.
I have some of them right here.
So that's our apple. An apple a day keep though.
No way.
Think of that. Banana, is that how you cook it? That's tomato. That's the vegetables. Okay.
Yeah, you can do whichever. Put away the papers, whatever. Make things as you go along. Use the tunes they know already. Don't sing like me. I hope you all are better voices than mine. You sing, Jillian? Oh, Lord.
We'll just do another game?
Yeah, one more.
Okay, let's just do another, let's reset. Another behaving game. Bluebird.
Yes.
Let's do Bluebird. Okay, everybody put their hands up. Bluebird. Who's the bird? Okay. Everybody knows Bluebird. All right. 1, 2, 3. Bluebird, bluebird, through my window. Bluebird, bluebird, through my window. Bluebird, bluebird, through my window. Oh,
physical challenges. And next will come, because we're not going to do it, it should be now the powwow circle. So you say, now brownies, it's time for our powwow time. And with the powwow, you can say, these are the notes.
What you did.
Say notes, time, what did you learn? And
But they could just show that.
and you can show it, and then you'd be able to say, hey, we would say to you, we want as a group to discuss how can we take what we have learned and have a healthy food snack at school. And so, what would you do? You say, Mrs. LeVon. Then you say, LeVon, what can you do at school so we can have a healthy food snack? And so you develop the whole idea, and everybody should participate, because we're going to leave from here and we're going to put into practice some use of those healthy food snacks at school. What else might you do at school to keep healthy? Then somebody might say, walk around the school for a bit before, walk 3 times around the school, because you know we need to walk 10,000 steps per day to get rid of all the calories we eat. How many steps that is. And so that's what the powwow is for. That's another kind of a ceremony. Then after that we'll have a quiet song.
But before we do the quiet song, because we talk about healthy eating, I wanted to just do one grace with you. Morning is here. Repeat after me. Morning is here.
Morning is here.
The board is spread.
The board is spread.
Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
Who gives us bread.
Who gives us bread.
Now, in Guides, we sing all our graces. Okay? In Guides, we sing for breakfast, we sing for lunch, and we sing for dinner. So today we're going to learn one grace. Morning is here. Morning is here. The board is spread. Thanks be to God who gives us bread. You get it? Let's sing it together. Morning is here, the board is spread. Thanks be to God who gives us bread. You sing our closing song now? Okay. We're going to sing Go Well and Safely.
And we will join our hands across.
Repeat after me. Go well and safely.
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 The Lord be ever with you.
The Lord be ever with you.
Stay well and safely.
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 The Lord be ever with you.
The Lord be ever with you.
Remember now, when we dismiss, we're gonna.
Yeah, when we dismiss.
Yeah, I'm saying you have to have the right hand. Yes. Okay. Everybody straight. You're gonna go under your arm and turn around, turn out, inside out. Okay. So it have to be right. You have to. It have to be your right over your left.
Your right
over left.
Right over left.
So you can go under and turn around. Everybody can do it together. Let's just do it
Right
first.
over left. Right over left. Your right. Put your right hand.
Yes, because let's just try it. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. You got it? Okay, everybody got it. Okay. Right hand over your left. Yes. Oh. Go well and safely. Go well and safely. Go well and safely. The Lord be ever with you. Stay well. Stay well and safely. Stay well and safely. Stay well and safely. The Lord be ever with you. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Good job. Now, Brownie.
We're not finished. Brownie bells. So we want you to go down and safely. We want you to ensure that you have some healthy snacks at school and you do something to show that you're living a So now, you can have a prayer, and then you're going to, when we'll go and do taps, and we're going to do what?
Brownie
Rather
bells.
brownie bells, and we're going to
Ring them.
We're going to ring the bells. Ready? Good night, brownies.
I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God, to serve the Queen and my country, to help other people, and to keep the Brownie Guide laws.
Remember to keep the brownie guide law in school
And do a good turn
and do it
every day. There are important ceremonies and occasions in every brownie's life. First of all, we begin with the brownie ring, and we all saw that we did it earlier when we had the brownie ring at the opening of our ceremony. And the brownie salute. Let me see everyone do your brownie salute. When you say your promise, you will do the brownie salute. Brownie bells, we just rang our bells just a short while ago, and brownie bells is a part of our closing ceremony. And then we have a promise ceremony. There are different types of promise ceremonies, and Miss Wilson, Miss Wilson will come and demonstrate one type of ceremony to us, and the other
later.
later.
Lundy will do the other when you finish doing all of them.
Oh, so we have different types of promise ceremonies, and we will see later different types of promise enrollment ceremonies, promise ceremonies. Then the toadstool. The toadstool is important to a brownie, and it's in the center of the ring. And in the badge, and there's also a ceremony for the toadstool. So there's a little ceremony that goes with the toadstool. The badge presentations, badges are given to brownies on different occasions. Some of them work with badges. They have challenge badges. They have other badges that they can work for. And a birthday badge at the year of their birthday, of their enrollment birthday. When the brownies enrolled, after a year, the birthday badge, after a year, there's a second year and a third year badge that is presented to brownies if they are working and have accomplished all of the things that they should. Brownie Revels. Now, Brownie Revels is a fun time. We have it once a year around Thinking Day during our Guide Week time, and that's when all the brownies from all around the world meet for an evening of fun and games. They have a lot of fun, and also they learn a lot of different stuff during that time. And park holidays are when they go not camping, but not camping. They camp inside, but they go out, they enjoy the outdoors. They're able to enjoy nature. They go out in the wild and live a simple life and enjoy the simple things. Okay. Ceremonies mean something to the brownies and involve everybody. Everybody should be involved in the ceremonies. It have a middle, a beginning, and an end, and a point. The mixture of symbolism, words, and action. All ceremonies should be led by brownies if possible. And they should be fun, it should be meaningful, and should be impressive. Now we will see two different types of ceremonies. One will be done by Miss Jillian, and the other will be done by Mrs. Lundy.
Good evening. My name is Jillian Wilson, and I am the Brown Owl at 77th Nassau, which is sponsored by Summit Academy. I love brownies, and I really enjoy serving as a leader. One of the things, our brownie pack has been operating for going on 3 years now, and one of the things that has really made the experience for our girls very special are the ceremonies that we do. For our first enrollment ceremony, we actually had 26 girls for the promise ceremony. And during a powwow, we asked the young ladies what theme or themes that they were interested in. We selected a few, and then the leaders came together, and we pretty much we worked together to come up with a skit. We took it back to the girls, and they told us what they were comfortable with, what they wanted to take out, what they wanted to put in, because it was very important to us as leaders to have the girls comfortable with the ceremony that they were going to participate in. And so several weeks before, we had our ceremony in November, so by the middle of October, we started actually making all of the necessary, items that we needed. This mushroom we made from an old popcorn bowl that we paper mached. And these are actually Clorox, empty Clorox white containers that we paper mached. And again, we sent the girls on a journey. We wanted them to identify objects, and they came up with these two things on their own. Okay, so they, again, were very excited. So during one meeting, we actually had them complete this as the craft. Then the leaders, because we wanted to have some element of surprise, we got together and ordered quite a few items online. And of course, everything was related to the theme. So we wanted to find everything that we could, or as many things as we could with owls. So we got them owl rings. We actually gave all of the girls party boxes. And we had miniature owls inside, pencils, sharpeners, erasers, everything that we could find. And they were not expecting it. We gave it out at the end of the ceremony, and they were thrilled with that. We also had a skit. And the skit was a princess-themed skit. Now again, this is something that the girls came up with on their own. And each of the girls carried or had a little mirror and a crown. And the angle that we ended up going with was that they were very self-centered brownies. They were not concerned with helping anyone else. And by the end of the skit, they talk about the importance of being a brownie and lending a hand, and so we tried to take in everything that was important about what we had been teaching them since they had joined in September. And another thing that's important too is to not make, if a girl, for example, starts in September, within 6 weeks or so, you want to make sure that you conduct your promise ceremony, so you can get on with, for example, earning badges. So I have just a few pictures here. This may be a bit difficult for you to see, but like I said, we had 26 girls. Helen Sweeting, who was our commissioner, came to conduct the ceremony for the girls. They were extremely excited, and she started by doing a uniform inspection. Now, I stressed to the girls that we would not enroll anyone unless they were in proper uniform. And so she checked for everything. The ties were fitting properly around the neck, to the clean tennis shoes, to the white socks. And we told the girls that this was going to happen ahead of time, so they were well prepared for this. We had a lot of support from our parents. All of the parents came out, including grandparents. We also had to enroll the new leaders. That was exciting because that's me getting my pin. And then we took them outside onto our patio for a reception afterwards, where we invited all of the parents to stay with the girls. So they were extremely excited. They still talk about it to this day. And one thing that worked for us too is we have really made brownies in our school a really big deal. And so this was something that we talked about in our school community for weeks. So everyone knew that on November 20th was going to be our promise ceremony. Okay, so that's important, and that still works well, for us to this day. Okay, so I think it's just about making it exciting as you can for the girls. And as a result of this ceremony, we were actually able to encourage other girls who were not a part of the initial enrollment to join. Okay, so thank you. Are there any?
Bravo, 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 bravissimo, bravo, bravo, very well
Currently, I'm the Brown Owl at 89th St. Paul's Brownies. Actually, we're a very new group. We just enrolled our Brownies this past April 16th. I'm also a new leader as well. I've been a Brownie and a Girl Guide. I'm originally from Niagara Falls, Canada, and that's where I grew up, so I know all about Brownies and some Girl Guides in Canada, but not so much in the Bahamas. So I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but I'm learning, you know, these songs you do, I'm not too good on those. I'm trying to learn those. But I'm working with Sheena Davis, and she's kind of training me up before this training session here. So, as I said, I'm new to training, and I'm new to being a Brownie leader. So, I've had a lot of good help from Miss Davis, and so we developed this program together. And we didn't have much time to put it together, since this was really our first one that we did together, but I think it turned out very well. Basically, what we did with the Brownies is we insisted that they all get all their uniforms, and we made sure just before the ceremony they looked in order, and everybody looked well pressed. They had their, you know, beautiful shoes on, everything. We had good attendance also by the parents and their relatives, and we had it right in the church hall at St. Paul's Church. So it worked out very well. What we did was, for the program, we started with a prayer. So we picked one of our Brownies to say a prayer. After that, we did the Brownie Promise Song. And the Brownies basically practiced that just before we started, and they also practiced in a meeting. The Brownie Promise Song is basically a song to Away in a Manger. So as you say, you're not too good at singing. I'm good with other people, but it just is like, this is basically how it goes. I only have like 1 or 2 copies because I really didn't know, but I'll just do the first verse, but it has 3 verses, and they all sang together. They did a lovely job. It's a Brownie remembers the story of old. They brought Jesus presents of worth, we are told. And it goes on and on. So they sang the 3 verses, and they did a really good job. Then with the enrollment ceremony, the way we structured it was we had the various elements of the Brownie toadstool, etc. Miss Davis is very creative, so I didn't make any of the items. But what she did was we had, she formed the top of the toadstool. I think she had like some kind of a bowl or something, and she just kind of shaped it, and you notice on top of it she has the Brownie Guide symbol. The stem of the toadstool, she just got a coffee can and wrapped some stuff around it. Also, as part of it, we just picked some flowers, which is right in the churchyard. That's the pink flowers. The mirror, one of our assistant leaders, she had some beautiful square mirrors that are just a little bigger than the tiles, and we set that up as the pool. And as you know, if you don't know, Mrs. Davis is a recycling freak. So what we did was she cut up some plastic bags, and that was the grass. So that's the grass right there. And last but not least, we have our owl. And she made this. She made it out of a bottom of a Coke bottle, plastic Coke, and she painted it. You'd never know, would you? But it was very creative. And then she just got a branch from outside and attached it. So that was our owl. So that's how we did it. Basically, each girl, we had five girls that we inducted. As I say, we're just starting up, and we just started with 5 girls. We did a script, so each girl would get up out of their chair and they would say a line, and they would introduce the different items. So for example, excuse me, I would start and say, our Brownie law is to be kept at all times, not only when we are at Brownies. And then the Brownie would come up and say, as a Brownie, I am honest and kind. I help take care of the world around me. And then I would say, our motto is like a secret code that only Brownies know. The next Brownie would come up, lend a hand, meaning helping others as we can. I would say Brownies have a special sign and handshake that they must learn. And the Brownie would come up and do the sign and say, hold your right hand as high as your shoulder, then hold your first 3 fingers up like this. The next Brownie would say, don't let your fingers flop, hold them straight. Now using your left hand, shake my hand. I would say long ago our founder, Lord Baden-Powell, decided that Brownie should have something special in the center of the Brownie ring. He chose a toadstool. The next Brownie would take the grass and place it over there and say, the toadstool stands on a carpet of grass, which represents the solid foundation that unites Brownies everywhere. The next brownie would come up with the stem of the toadstool and say the stem of the toadstool stands for the brownie promise and law. The next brownie would take the toadstool cap and would say the cap stands for the crown of happiness. When a brownie keeps her promise, it makes her feel as if she's wearing a crown of happiness. Another brownie would take the owl and place it next to the toadstool and say the wise old owl sits on top of the toadstool and teaches the brownies how to lend a hand to others. And we already had the mirror on the ground because it's fragile. We just had the brownie come over and look in the mirror and say, nearby there's a magic pool. When a brownie lends a hand and helps others, she can look into the magic pool and see a brownie. And she would just do this, you know, so everybody would get the idea. It went over very well. Everybody understood the symbolism and everything, and that is the center of our ceremony. After that, I just welcomed all the parents, and the commissioner also came to induct our brownies. And then we sang a friendship song, and we invited the parents and friends to help us. And it's like a round song, you know, like row, row, row your boat. So we had 2 lines, and the first line, you could probably do it since you've all been singing so well today. The first verse says, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. So go ahead, you can sing this side and then you can start after. Okay? Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. One is silver and the other's gold.
After we sing Make New Friends, but keep the old, you all should have come in.
Yeah, we did. But I guess the second verse. A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend.
All right, that's right again. Go on.
Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other silver. A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other gold. A circle is round, it has no end. Very good. Everybody sings well. So we did that. Everybody had a good time doing that as well, especially the kids. After that, we had the greetings from the commissioner. And then basically what we did is we invited each brownie up, and they were to be escorted by another brownie. Since we didn't have any of our rangers come, they couldn't come out that day, we were going to have a ranger escort the first brownie. I escorted the first one. We came up to the commissioner, and I presented them saying, this is Jada Francis, who would like to become a brownie. And then she would say, okay, hi Jada, how you doing? And then she would do her promise. And then we had a certificate that we gave each one. It's, unfortunately, I only have a black and white printer, but it's in color. Each one had their name on it. And we presented the certificate along with the brownie pin. So just an idea.
Please, you finished this landing up.
Just about. So each one did that, and we also instructed them as they're coming up, once they do the promise, once they would stand up, the other ones on the side would also do their promise. And then lastly was closing remarks. I just thanked everybody, and we had some just little refreshments right in the hall. We had sandwiches and juice and some cake, and I had a chance to take pictures, and we took a group picture. I know Miss Davis posted it.
And that's why I saw that they had a wonderful ceremony.
And so that was just our idea to recreate the brownies, explain the symbolism, and it was very meaningful for the brownies. The brownies, most of them come out to all the meetings, and we, you know, now we're saying we're in the growing stage, pass it on, bring your friends. And then also the Sunday after that, just so you know, because it's a church-oriented brownies, we had a mass, and we invited the brownies to wear their uniforms with their parents, and we sat at the front of the church, and we asked our priest if he could do a special blessing for the children. So at the end of the mass, we all got to stand up at the front, so everybody got to see the brownies, and he gave us all a special blessing. And he also made very positive comments saying the church will support the brownies. So they really had a nice time and very well recognized. And I'm looking forward, like I've learned a lot today in order to really engross them into the different ceremonies and songs and stuff, because they're very energetic. I forgot how energetic these little girls can be. But that's it in a nutshell.
Bravo, bravo.